Morning Grind with Pork Rinds.
Welcome to the show.
What's up, North Georgia? Dave Garner with you right here on another Rally Towel Tuesday episode of the Morning Rant. That's right, man. My co-host Billy Dowd in studio with us this morning, waving the rally towel. We appreciate you guys being with us. Hey, we'll be with you till 11 o'clock this morning. Chuck Oliver, of course, with Southern Sports Today, the king of college football, up here in about an hour as we lead you right into some football talk. A lot of things going on. And, man, we talked about it yesterday with Big John Davis. Big John bringing some hot takes yesterday right here on the Morning Rant. Of course, we are the home of Cup Racing, NASCAR, right here on Sports Big. We're the home, new North Georgia home of the Atlanta Braves. So we're going to talk a little bit of a chop talk with the Atlanta Braves today, and also get you caught up on some March Madness. We kind of touched on it a little bit yesterday with the brackets, and I don't know about you, Billy D, but my bracket is completely busted. The Houston Cougars, man, they totally let me down. Yeah. So, you and I are maybe on the outside looking in a little bit at this point, but hey, it is what it is. The Final Four is set. What did you think, man, about some of those finishes? I mean, that Yukon-Duke matchup obviously was just a classic game that, and even as we were talking about yesterday, even the lead up to the final 10 seconds was insane. I mean, Duke being up by 19 points in that game at one point, Yukon able to work their way back into it. A lot of people had Duke in their bracket to win it all. What do you make of that, man, in those final 10 seconds?
Well, no love lost with Duke losing from me. I'm not
right.
a fan of Duke. And that, if you remember, I said, watch out for Yukon. If you remember before this thing started, I said, watch out for Yukon. They haven't been playing very well, but they're going to come through in the tournament. And now I said that, but I didn't pick them to get this far.
Yeah,
I said that, but I didn't even pick them to get this far. But I did pick Duke getting beat. But no, that was incredible. It was awesome. When that play happened, my whole house was screaming. It's funny. like probably every other home around here.
Yeah.
But to Duke to let them come back from 19 points to even be in that moment, and all they had to do was hold the ball.
Yeah,
because UConn, all they wanted to do was foul him and put him on the line. And they win the game. So it was really a coaching mishap. From that standpoint, they shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with. But once they were there, it's pretty simple. Just hold the ball.
Yeah. There's 10 seconds on the clock. You're not going to even get called for a 10-second violation at that part or backcourt, or whatever. Even if you get called for it, there's point whatever left, and they're inbounded from the other end of the floor. So you're right. I'm not even sure why Duke was even passing to begin with. And the crazy thing is, obviously, when you look at that last series there and that last sequence, the fact that all he had to do was get that ball just up over those two guys, because you had two guys wide open down on the other end of the floor. The game's over. All he's got to do is basically just chunk that ball up in the air, if nothing else. And but nonetheless, Yukon gets the turnover at midcourt. They feed it ahead. They feed it back to the kid, and he drains it from the logo. And
nothing but net.
Just an unbelievable finish as Yukon again stamps their ticket to the Final Four. Of course, Illinois, getting it done. I mean, there were some folks out there. I know that we'll talk later in the week with our man, the Golden Boy, Will Cooper, who's currently, by the way, leading the Geiger Legal Group Bracket Challenge right now because of his picks. Picked the Illini to go to the national championship game. So kudos to our very own Will Cooper right now in the catbird seat, and a couple of different brackets there. But and then you've got Arizona, Michigan on the other side. Tennessee didn't show up to play. I mean, Michigan, absolutely dominating the final SEC team left in the bracket. And, a lot of us, like I had the SEC basically bowing out in the Sweet 16. So kudos to Tennessee to be able to, get the win over Iowa State in the Sweet 16, advance to the Elite Eight. But the SEC is no more in the bracket.
Nah, Michigan's rolling. They look incredible. I wouldn't be surprised if they win the whole thing. Another person who picked the Illini was my son, Will, who now overtook me. I was doing really well, and then he picked the Illini, so he's in there as well, looking really good on his bracket.
Yeah.
I said, you didn't even know who they were. He goes, I know who they are. But anyway, so they looked really good. You know what I found out about Illinois is that, and if you look at a lot of the top teams, they have a lot of European players.
Right.
And they're specifically starting to recruit these guys from overseas because they're just so good at the fundamentals of the game.
Right.
And now you're seeing that play out in these tournaments because that's what the NBA is doing. So they're copying what the NBA is doing, and it's working.
Absolutely. Copying that format, going overseas, drawing a lot of these kids over here. You know, the 7'9" kid from Florida. I mean, there's a lot of different guys that, you know, they're going out and getting right there. And so, again, Illinois, you know, kudos to the Illini, man, the Fighting Illini in the Final Four. Hey, plenty of things to talk about here over this next, less than 60 minutes. And I left my eyeglasses in my office, so I may have to run back. So if you see me squinting, if you're one of those folks that watches the episodes on YouTube and you see me squinting, that's probably why. And Billy D, he offered me his readers there, but I'm like, dude, my eyes are so messed up. The only glasses, man, there's no way. So anyway, if I hit a wrong button here or something in this first segment, I apologize. I'm trying to do the best I can without my glasses, but hey, man, it stinks getting old. You know, I mean, that's just what it's all about.
You had no problem seeing those nice, bright, shiny snakeskin boots to put on, did you?
Man, hey, man, I'm rocking the genuine Python this morning, baby. Watch out now; these things will bite you. But anyway, hey, man, you're wearing the golf shirt. We're going to talk a little golf here today because next week, again, the Masters is upon us. And I was thinking about it this morning, all the different classic moments. And for whatever reason, you remember like Jose Maria Olafable. And I always, as a broadcaster, I think about Jim Nantz and, you know, and I try to imitate those moments where it's like, Jose Maria Olafable with a chance for birdie on 16. You know, like,
that's pretty good.
And we're just getting into that time of year, man. So next week right here, I've got a couple of Masters logoed shirts and I've got a hat. So next week is going to officially be Masters week right here on the Morning Rant as we lead you right up into Thursday's first round, the par 3. I think Wednesday, I guess. So the week officially gets underway on Monday, of course. But the action later in the week. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Gary Woodland, we talked about a little bit yesterday, coming back from brain surgery to win the Texas Open. Is a great lead up. What a story that was.
Incredible story. So happy for him. That's just a major deal to be able to come back and do that on that kind of a stage. So really, really cool to see that happen. With the Masters coming up, it's an exciting time. It's one of the tournaments I actually watch pretty much start to finish.
Right.
It's one of the few.
It is, for me too.
But I just love it. There's so many things about the Masters. I can wait till next week to start talking about it. But it's just one of my favorite
Lay it
events.
out there, man.
One
Lay
of my
it out
favorite
there,
events of the year, for sure.
Well, and I think for a lot of people, whether you like golf or not, I think it's one of those sporting events that kind of really officially signals the start of spring. And I think that's the thing for me. I love the fact that it's in Georgia. I'm very much a Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. I take pride in the events that happen here throughout the state. And so the Masters being the most prestigious, really, to me, of all the golf tournaments, the green jacket, the tradition, a tradition unlike any other, as they say, and the fact that it's kind of in our backyard, so to speak, makes it even more special. But I think for the casual sports fan, it's kind of a changing of the guard. You just told me a couple minutes ago you've mowed your yard for the fifth time.
Fifth time.
Yes. Time. Are you kidding? Now, a little bit of cold, set it back a little bit.
Yeah.
But now it's warming back up again.
I've got to get it in fairway shape.
And we're about to get some rain, I think, maybe here in North Georgia over the next couple days. So again, there's a lot of things going on there. But yeah, the Masters is sort of that changing of the guard. Speaking of golf, somebody that was supposed to be kind of making their comeback was Tiger Woods. And, again, a situation that we touched on yesterday. John Davis brought up some great points about this. You're seeing a pattern of behavior here from Tiger, which is alarming. And it's one of those things when it happens once or it happens twice, it's like, dude, shame on you. What is he thinking? But there's obviously something more going on here with Tiger, in a deeper, darker state, I guess, perhaps. And you hate to say that. I mean, it would be easy to sit here and throw him under the bus and think, man, I can't believe he did it again. But there's obviously something else going on right here. And, the fact that he passed the breathalyzer test, but he wouldn't let them take any blood, tells me he had some other things in his system, maybe not alcohol, but some other things there perhaps in his system that led, to that event.
No doubt. And I think the thing at this point, and, America is a very forgiving, nation. But here's the thing. You're now putting other people's lives at stake.
Right, yeah.
And that's somebody in his camp needs to get in his ear. I mean, the guy's a billionaire. He can afford to have people drive him around or whatever. He says
right.
privacy issues, whatever.
Yeah.
At this point, you're a danger to society when you get behind a wheel.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And what's going to make him stop? Actually killing somebody? So those are the types of conversations the people closest to him or that he can trust need to have with him. He needs to understand that this has got to stop whenever you have a montage of wrecks. Right. Over the last few years, that's more than the championships or matches that you played.
Yeah,
you got a problem.
Well, and I said it yesterday. I mean, I felt like I was reading the same story from a few years ago, but it was the same story. And you brought up a great point there. It's the same thing that John said yesterday. I know you didn't even get to see the show yesterday because you were out running around. John said the same thing, and I agreed with him too. I mean, with that level of income, hire a driver. I mean, at this point, if it's a situation that you're putting yourself in, and I know people don't like to have their freedoms taken away. I know a lot of folks. I know with my mother-in-law, for example, being in her 90s, eventually you got to take the keys away. It just is what it is. And I know for a lot of elderly people and people in that situation, they feel like they're having some of their livelihood and their freedom taken away whenever those keys get taken away or what have you. But, in a situation like that, Tiger's not 90 years old. I mean, he's still got a long way to go in life.
Did this happen
presumably.
in a neighborhood too?
It happened right outside of his neighborhood, basically, and where he was at. So, yeah, there's a lot of things going on right now with Tiger Woods, and certainly not making light of that in any way, shape, or form. But you gotta, the biggest thing that you thank God about is, like you said, that no one else was involved, no one else was necessarily injured, and certainly that Tiger made it out of it physically okay. But yeah, that pattern of behavior is certainly alarming. Hopefully, that won't take away from the excitement. It's going to be talked about. It's just a major story because Tiger Woods is a major, athlete. He's
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, he's Tiger Woods. He's going to draw a lot of attention. Hopefully that will not take away from the week, though, next week, and we'll talk about the Masters much more leading up to the tradition of Augusta. It's always a fun time of year and a changing of the guard weather-wise as we get set for the next season. Hey, we're up against our first break. We'll go ahead and step aside. Again, you're listening to this Rally Towel Tuesday edition of the Morning Rant right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the SportsPig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Tired of shouting your business's name into the void and getting nothing but crickets? Your brand deserves more than awkward billboard glances and flyers lining bird cages. Right now, listeners are hearing me ramble on instead of your ad. That's a touchdown for missed opportunities and a fumble for your wallet.
Recovered, Atlanta. Game over.
Your ad could be here, making fans laugh, cheer, and most importantly, call you. Go to sportspigradio.com or call 678-454-9552 and get your business off the bench and into the game.
Big opinions of the big games from the big mouths.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. It's the Morning Rant on WPGY, the Sports Pig, North Georgia's home for ESPN Radio.
Sit down.
Back here on a Rally Towel Tuesday, Dave Garner, Billy Dowd with you, chopping up till 11 o'clock right here on the Morning Rant. A lot of different ways to listen to the show, a lot of different ways to listen to the station. Again, Sports Pig on the app and online at sportspigradio.com, also on the dial as well. We appreciate you guys listening in. Again, on social media, Sports Pig on Facebook and Twitter, the Morning Rant on Instagram, and also daily video episodes of the show uploaded on YouTube. And we also have the podcast version on sportspigradio.com. If you go to the website, scroll down, you can pick up the episodes daily. We keep them on there for a few days. In case you missed it, you can go back and listen to it. Also, wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, we're on a lot of different channels there. So, again, we hope that you're enjoying the show. I know we are right here on a Tuesday. Billy D, I called you the white Charles Barkley last week, and you guys can see it now, man. You see the head right there and everything. It's been so fun watching Charles break down March Madness as it is every year. I would love to see him do some other stuff. Can they not bring him into the Masters, too, or something like that? Kind of keep that whole, CBS thing.
They did it with Snoop Dogg.
Flowing. Yeah, I mean, they do it with Snoop Dogg. I mean, if Snoop Dogg can commentate everything, then why not Charles? But, man, he'd be talking about some golf will being a knucklehead, or something. So, but anyway, having a lot of fun right here. Hey, shout out and kudos. Again, Dan Ratcliffe is one of our morning show guys down the hall on our sister station, 101.1 The Pulse. and he overheard us talking in the first segment about me not having my glasses, and he knows how blind I am, I guess. So Dan, during one of their breaks, went into the office, grabbed my glasses. He just brought him in last segment. So, man, thank you, man. I mean, and that's the kind of team we got right here, man. We look out for each other, right? So, again, man, now I can see again. That's always a good feeling.
This is slick shades, too.
Slick shades, man. I mean, hey, that's what it's all about right here. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the Atlanta Hawks real quick. Another big winner last night, 112-102.
Yes.
Over the Boston Celtics, currently the number 2 seed right now in the Eastern Conference. This Hawks team, as we know, has been on a heater. They've won, I don't know, 16 out of 18 now, I guess, or something.
16 out of 18, that's right.
Yeah,
yep.
And getting it done again last night on the home floor against the Celtics, who were in town. The Hawks are right now clinging to that 6th spot. I mean, they're right there neck and neck with Toronto. 6 games left in the season to make up the 82, and they all count because, as you and I were talking off air before we got on this morning, that basically you've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 teams maybe that are separated by a game.
All separated by a game.
So, I mean, this last, 5 or 6 are going to be critical. I mean, it's the difference for the Hawks between a play-in game and actually getting to play a real series.
You don't want the play-in game. You're teetering around the 5th seed right now. And, yeah, you don't want that. Can we get excited about the Hawks, though? Can we?
How
do you feel,
man,
Dave? Can
I just
can I get you up a little bit?
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing.
Come on.
The other night, they were playing a game, and they were up 18 at halftime. And I get a text from you.
That's
and you're
right.
Like, man,
that's right.
Yo, this Hawks team, man, they on fire. And I was like, what? And I had turned it over there. I had actually turned the game over right as you texted. It's perfect timing. It's hilarious. But they were in halftime, so I didn't see any. I didn't even know what the score was. I had just flipped it over there. I get the text from you. I proceed to watch at halftime over the next 6 or 7 minutes, and an 18-point lead became a 2-point deficit. And I didn't even – I watched for 5 minutes and did not even see the Hawks put one in the bucket.
Well.
And I was like, I'm not going to fall for this trap. I'm not going to fall for it. But then my stepson came home, wanted to watch it, so we turned it back on. It ends up going to overtime. The Hawks ended up winning that game by a point on the road. And I was like, okay, well, there you go. But
you were feeding the negativity when you turn the show on.
I know.
And then when your stepson comes in, he feeds the positivity, and they come back. How dare you doubt the Hawks? They've shown you the last 18 games that they can win 16 of them, and you want to knock them down. Come on.
Oh, man. I'm a creature of habit. I know. And it admittedly, as an Atlanta sports fan, we do have a lot of people have a defeatist mentality. I get it. And I'm one of those people. I'm just guarded, man. I've had my heart. It's like a bad relationship, man. I've had my heart crushed too much over the years as a Hawk fan, as a Falcon fan, even as a Braves. At least the Braves have won a couple of chips. But man, it's like, everybody always makes the joke about the pallbearer going to be the Falcons so they can let me down one last time and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, you just got to guard your heart a little bit. But yes, I'll go ahead and say it right here on the Tuesday Rally Towel edition of the Morning Rant. I'll go ahead and say, let's go ahead and get excited.
Come on, man. Let's go. Let's go, Hawks.
Your Hawk noise is a whole lot better than mine, man. You got it down, man. You got it down. So, again, man, we appreciate you guys being with us right here on this Rally Towel Tuesday presented by our friends at Geiger Legal Group in Canton. Speaking of the Geiger Legal Group Bracket Challenge, about 450 folks taking part. I talked to Noelle, who's their marketing director, and she said, honestly, for this first year, we expected maybe 100. And so the fact that they ended up with about 450 people says a lot. And my man, Will Cooper, who will be with us Thursday, our Braves insider, currently leading, I think, the bracket challenge right now, man. He's got Arizona, he's got Illinois, and he's got everybody right there picking the Final Four. We're going to talk a little more about the Cooper Predictor on Thursday. Tomorrow, we will be live, our first ever live Morning Rant. Tomorrow morning, 10 to 11, from the Pub in Ellijay. Again, our friends at the Pub in Ellijay, our Friday happy hour sponsor, but they will be with us tomorrow for Winging It Wednesday, their $1 wing special. So come on by, join us tomorrow. Now, they don't technically open till around 11, but we're going to stick around for a little while. Hopefully, you'll come by. and meet us, and we'll be there hanging out for a little while. But yeah, man, the pub in Ellijay, the place to be, especially on Wednesdays with $1 wings, man. You can't beat that.
I've had more wings in the last 2 weeks than I've had all last year.
Yeah, that's right. You and I were fortunate enough to spend all weekend at the Wing and Rock Fest last weekend. This past weekend, of course, we were at Braves game on Friday night with our sister station, and then Saturday morning, 101.1 The Pulse down the hall was over in Emerson at Excel Christian Academy doing a big Easter egg drop. This weekend is Easter. And so, again, it's a Holy Week, and next week is Masters Week. So, again, a lot of things going on around the North Georgia area, particularly with sports, and so we're very excited about that. Speaking of excited about our Atlanta Braves, we told you earlier, again, we are the North Georgia home for the new North Georgia home for the Atlanta Braves.
Let's go Braves.
Braves, again, getting it done last night, 4-0 over the Oakland A's, who are in town for a 3-game set. The Braves taking 2 of 3 from Kansas City. I know you're not a huge baseball guy, I mean, admittedly, and you've even said it right here on the program, but I know you're paying attention a little bit. I mean, what were your thoughts of the weekend coming away with a couple?
Well, here's my thoughts, because you were griping last week about we need to manufacture runs. We need to be able to bunt and move them over to the bases.
I saw your snide comment on Facebook, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Instagram or
I'm
whatever.
like, no, let's get the bats going. Let's get some home runs out there. Let's get some runs. And what happens? The bats have heated up. We're hitting runs. We're exciting to watch, I think, even though I've heard some sports people talk about our offense still doesn't look great. Well, did we win 3 out of the last 4? I believe we have.
Yeah.
So, okay, I don't want to hear it anymore. We hit the grand slam home run on Saturday night, right?
Saturday night, yeah.
Grand slam home run.
Yeah.
I mean, what's more exciting than that? Come on.
Well, nothing's more exciting than that. And my whole point was, now don't hear what I'm not saying, as they say. You know, I'm not saying that the long ball is not fun. It's not sexy. It's not, of course. I mean, nobody wants to go watch 9 innings of baseball to see guys bunt guys into scoring position. I get that. But all I'm saying is situationally, you're going to be in those games where you're going to need, it's a 1-run, it's a 1-0 or a 1-1 game in the 8th inning. You got to move. You get your leadoff guy on, and you got to get him over into scoring position. I'd like to see this team be able to have the flexibility to do that. But to your point, no, absolutely, I'm not dumping on the long ball.
You'd have loved baseball back in the 1940s.
That's right, man. I would have. Ty Cobb, baby, spikes up, man. That's just how it works. I mean, that's what I like to see. But anyway, no, I mean. Braves definitely getting it done with the long ball. Really, kind of setting the tone really in the opener, as we saw with Ozzie Albies, who, we talked a lot about. I mean, he had kind of a rough spring. You look at the baseball analytic numbers, hitting against a lot of, Double-A pitching and still barely hitting over the Mendoza line. But to come out in that first game in his first at-bat and hit a home run was huge. It was nice to see Ronnie come away with a couple hits last night. Of all the from 1 to 9, from top to bottom of the Braves lineup over the first 3 ball games, Acuna had 1 hit, and that was one of the hits he had on, or the only hit he had was on Saturday in that whole series, and yet the Braves were still able to win 2 out of 3. But then last night they get it done. Bryce Elder, and
he's hitting it hard though. He's hitting it hard.
Yeah, he's hitting the ball. He's hitting the ball hard. And I don't worry about a guy like Acuna. Look, he's a generational player. We know that. So I'm not sitting here panicking or by any means. But it was nice to see Ronnie come away with a couple hits last night, of course, Acuna. And so that helped, fuel the fire a little bit. Drake Baldwin, is ripping the cover off the ball right now, primarily hitting in that 2-hole there, as a DH / catcher. Jonah Heim behind the plate getting a lot of defense there. Only a matter of time before Sean Murphy comes back. So, you like the start. I mean, after an 0-7 start last year, you'll take 3-1 all day long.
So what do you think? What are your thoughts about how they keep switching the lineup based off the pitchers? How Weiss has been switching things up a lot.
Yeah.
Not something we're used to seeing. I heard a lot of people talking about that. It looks like it's kind of working.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think Walt Weiss to a certain extent does come from the Bobby Cox / Brian Snicker school. I mean, a lot of lefty-righty. We saw Eli White get the start opening day because of the whole lefty-righty situation. We didn't see Yaz come in until, the second game there. And so I'm not a huge – I mean, I get it. I mean, analytics will tell you, that there is something to that. The team hits better, lefty versus lefty, righty versus righty type situation. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I do see the Braves kind of playing with that. And I think you're going to see a lot of kind of toying with the lineup early in the season anyway, because that's what a lot of teams do to try to figure out where to put guys. Because here's the thing, you're going to have some guys that are going to sit out. They're not going to be there every game. Drake Baldwin may be hitting the 2 spot right now. There may be a situation where, if he's out of the lineup, you bump everybody else up, and maybe you've got a DH that maybe bumps down to 6 or 7 in the lineup. So, there's going to be some toying with the lineup.
I think it keeps it interesting. I think when you get set into something, sometimes I don't think that's such a great thing.
Yeah,
keep it moving.
No, you got to keep it fresh. I mean, outside of Acuna being at the top of the lineup, I mean, you can move guys around all you want to. I think that having Austin Riley, I think that having Matt Olson kind of protecting Drake Baldwin there, 1 through 4, I think is a big thing. If Ozzy's hitting the ball pretty well, then I like him in the 5 spot. I don't have a problem with that necessarily, or even 6. Michael Harris gives you a lot of pop at the bottom of the order. Like what he's doing there. And so, we'll see what happens, but definitely a good start for our Atlanta Braves as they continue their series tonight against the A's. And then tomorrow, a businessman special, an afternoon game for Atlanta. And like I said, we'll be live on location tomorrow. We will basically be kind of a lead-up show. Chuck Oliver will come on for about an hour or so, and then we'll lead right into our Atlanta Braves coverage right here on WPGY, the Sports Pig. Hey, we're up against our second break. When we come back, we'll dive into our favorite moments from the weekend in sports, and we'll launch a brand new segment right here today on the Morning Rant. Stay tuned. We are the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Tired of shouting your business's name into the void and getting nothing but crickets? Your brand deserves more than awkward billboard glances and flyers lining bird cages. Right now, listeners are hearing me ramble on instead of your ad. That's a touchdown for missed opportunities and a fumble for your wallet.
Recovered. Atlanta. Game over.
Your ad could be here, making fans laugh, cheer, and most importantly, call you. Go to sportspigradio.com or call 678-454-9552 and get your business off the bench and into the game.
We bring the heat. You bring the trash talk.
Come on, man. Are you serious?
It's the Morning Rant, live on the Sports Pig app and sportspigradio.com.
Back here live on the Morning Rant. Thanks for being with us right here on a Rally Towel Tuesday. Dave Garner with you right here. Again, my co-host Billy Dowd in studio with us as well on a Tuesday afternoon that'll see the Braves go back at it again tonight. It was great to see the bullpen kind of pick up Bryce Elder last night as well. Again, a shutout over the A's, top to bottom. Aaron Bummer with a scoreless inning. Again, Suarez comes in with a scoreless inning. And then Raisel Iglesias, who struggled a little bit last year, comes in and gets it last night. So, again, all-around great pitching performance by the Atlanta Braves last night. And, again, hopefully they can keep that momentum rolling into tonight's game. Hey, big win for our man Chase Elliott on Sunday. Again, Martinsville getting it done, man. Chase, again, our local boy from Dawsonville. Again, the Dawsonville pool room, they put out a video. They indeed rang the bell, man. They hit the siren and for Chase, so congratulations there. Again, a lot of great sports moments from the weekend. As we mentioned, we are the home of NASCAR Cup racing right here on Sundays. Well, primarily Sundays. There's some on Saturday, but again, the home of all the Cup races right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. That's the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com. Favorite moments from the weekend. Let's hit it.
Time to hang it in the Louvre.
Oh, this looks nice.
Our favorite moments from the weekend sports here on the Morning Rant.
All right, so I just mentioned Chase being a big winner over the weekend. Our very own Chandler Smith from Talking Rock also leading the point standings in the Craftsman Truck Series as well. We're keeping our eye on Chandler. But you, man, what direction you going today? What your favorite moment from the weekend and the week so far?
Well, look, Woodland winning that tournament was definitely one.
Oh, yeah.
But from an excitement standpoint, Yukon Yukon was awesome. I loved it.
Hard to beat, man.
And I mean, just it's everything March Madness is. And a lot of people do not like Dan Hurley.
Yeah,
I happen to like him.
You're the only one. Yeah.
I may be. But then you see this little forehead to head thing that he does with the ref. At the end, I don't know if you saw that.
I did. Yeah,
it was like, what is that all about?
Right,
now, I don't necessarily like that, but I don't know. There's something about it's like, yeah, that's what's up.
He's definitely got whether to me he's kind of like a I don't know, maybe a Sean Payton type of coach. You hate him unless he coaches your team, kind of thing. But if he coaches your team, then you love him because he is kind of fiery and he has a confidence and a swagger about him that is maybe off-putting if you're not a fan of the Yukon Huskies, But credit, of course, and it's funny because Dan's brother, obviously, Bobby Hurley, was a point guard, a national champion point guard at Duke, and so Dan, obviously, getting into coaching over the years, has already taken Yukon to the Natty and a couple of times there, and now could very well be back headed on the other. But yeah, definitely
3 out of 4.
Moment. Yeah, 3 out of 4. I mean, that would be something right there. So, again, favorite moments from the weekend, as we call it, our Hang It in the Louvre moments right here on the Morning Rant. And, we're talking a lot about things, of course, going on over the weekend. Did you catch any of the UFL? There is spring football going on out there, and we talked about it yesterday briefly with Big John Davis because, again, to his point, we were talking about, there are guys that you may not know, that may not be household names in this UFL that, you're going to see a couple on an NFL roster this fall, so maybe worth a watch. I don't know. Are you I'm trying to think of the St. Louis Battlehawks, I think, and some Orlando, and there are a few of them out there.
I've only got so much time, Dave. As the seasons turn and they go around their different things, I get into the seasons of what's in. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah. So I totally get you.
I don't know where to fit it in.
Yeah, exactly. Don't know where to fit in. Well, speaking of, we've got a brand new segment right here on the show that we're going to roll out, and we're going to go ahead and hit it right now and reveal it for you. If you like food, stick around. Here we go, baby.
Time for this week's restaurant inspection.
Oh, it smells so good in here.
On the Morning Rant.
All right, so we've got a new segment right here on the show, and we've talked about it all the time. This show is 80% sports, 10% food, 10% everything else, right? So music, entertainment. But today, we're going to go with the food take. And the reason I want to do this, there's a little backstory here. My man Billy D actually spent almost 20 years in the restaurant business, okay? Yes. So he knows a thing or two about restaurant inspection scores. And, again, this is brought to you by our friends at Eat Safe Cherokee. They also have an Eat Safe Cobb. I think they have an Eat Safe Fayetteville. They have a couple of different Eat Safe, Facebook pages. And basically what they do is they report restaurant scores weekly throughout top to bottom. And so, again, we're going to give credit where credit's due. We're going to give a shout out to those hundreds. We're not going to mention the worst. We'll mention the lowest scores, but we don't want to get anybody mad at us, so we're not going to mention the actual restaurants. But this week, not so bad. The lowest score from Cherokee County was a 70, and it's by a pretty well-known restaurant that everybody would know. But that was your lowest one, and then they go up basically 81, 83, all the way up to 100. But hey, credit Five Guys Burgers off of Cumming Highway, Liberty Elementary School. Yes, they go around to the schools as well and rate the kitchens there. Rally Point Grill in Woodstock, Deep Roots Wine and Kitchen, all hundreds. Hickory Flat Elementary School with 100. Marlowe's Tavern in Woodstock at Ridgewalk there next to the outlets. Applebee's Ridgewalk as well, and Ahira's Kitchen off of Highway 92, all with hundreds in the top scores there. Like we said, they go from 100 all the way down to 70. But I wanted you to kind of touch on it because we're going to throw it out there because here's the thing. Where did you eat this weekend? Where are you planning on eating this week and this weekend? We want to help you. We want to help make up your mind by throwing out, because there are a lot of people out there that do look at this stuff and they say, man, I ain't going there. They got a 60 or they got a 55 on their inspection score. So, but I want to get your take on this. What do you make of it? Because you've got a lot of experience with this. What are they looking for?
Here's what I'll tell you. I don't have a big problem with some of the scores that are low 80s. At all, and I frequent some of them quite a bit. Right. The reason being, with these scores, what you have to understand is the score doesn't necessarily defined what's happening in the restaurant.
Right.
You need to be able to read the report and know what's on there, because some of them may have a tile that was loose back in the dry storage area or something, and that could be 8 to 10 points depending on how many times it's happened.
Right.
It's happened the last 2 times they've been in there, they hadn't fixed it yet. Then it's going to be more points.
Yeah.
And so those things are big knocks. Now, does it matter? Yes, absolutely it does.
Yeah.
You got to get it fixed. Is it have any danger with you eating their food? Absolutely not. Has nothing to do with you eating the food. So
let's just see a bug or something. I mean,
look, you got to. And the reports are small. They're like, if you really, they show the score really big, but all the fine print about how that score came is really small, and you need to know what you're looking at.
Right. I've gone into restaurants before, and by the way, a lot of the like Chick-fil-A's and things, for example, in Cherokee County are all 9500s, things like that.
They're well maintained.
They're well maintained. But every once in a while, you might see a restaurant that gets a 70, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's nasty, but. Not everything is directly related to the food. I mean, there's some things that may be indirectly, related to cleanliness or kitchen or maybe the front of the house. It doesn't necessarily mean that someone's touching your food with a, bacterial infection.
You need to look at how food's being stored. Temperatures of how it's being stored,
which is kind of an indirect. I mean,
all those things matter, right?
Yeah, they do matter.
When you're looking at the temperature of food and how it's stored and being served, that sort of thing, those are big deals. Those are more of something to really look at on the report.
Right.
But some of the other stuff just really isn't. And what a lot of people don't know, these inspectors. Sometimes they show up when it's absolutely dead, so it's easier to get a great score because you can do everything perfect while they're there.
Oh, yeah.
And then occasionally they'll show up when you're in the middle and the height of your rush hour.
Of your lunch
and
rush,
you know what?
dinner rush.
You may miss a couple steps or whatever. The big thing in the food service industry, a big debate is, should you wear gloves or not? This has been going on for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to keep your hands clean and washed if you're not wearing gloves. You don't have to keep taking them out. But gloves are better for a single-use issue, right?
Right.
The problem with gloves is when people wear the gloves, they feel like they can just touch everything. So now you're touching chicken and the meat and the fish and everything else.
You're cross-contaminating potentially or whatever.
Hands, you won't do it because it's gross whether you just did it. You want to go wash your hands and then go do it again. So there's a big debate going on about that. I mean, generally gloves are better, and to change the gloves going from different meats, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, I could get in the weeds in this. But
I was going to say, and that's why I wanted to bring you on here. You and I spent some time together back in our early days there, and I'm sure you could probably tell a lot of stories on me working in the kitchen as well. But again, we won't necessarily go there today. However, though, we'll have some fun with it right here as a part of our restaurant inspection update. Again, if you're looking for somewhere to go this weekend, again, just a couple more. Family Tradition over in Hickory Flat, they got 100. Chick-fil-A as well on Cumming Highway there with 100. A Cone to Pick in Canton. Now, these are all Cherokee County for those that are listening right here. They got a 93. Good ice cream shop right there. Brewster's Ice Cream with 100 right across the street from Cherokee High School. And Green Line Brewery on East Main Street, downtown Canton, with a 97 as well. So, again, a couple of different dinner ideas. Man, we want to try to help you guys out as best we can right here on the Morning Rant. Hey, thanks for being with us right here. Again, the restaurant inspection scores on Tuesday as part of our Rally Towel Tuesday presented by our friends at Geiger Legal Group in Canton and Dalton. And, again, they've got their bracket challenge going on, and we were talking about March Madness. So who you got, man, the rest of the way here? I mean, the Final Four on Saturday as we kind of lead into Easter weekend, and then right into the Masters, the CBS crew will pack up, and they'll head to Augusta, and you'll hear a lot of the same voices, of course. But, yeah, man, who you got?
So I had Houston winning the whole thing. Houston, in their game, shot a miserable 34%.
They didn't show up. Kelvin Sampson didn't have those guys ready to play.
You can't win shooting 30-something percent.
No.
At this point, I would say, I had them playing Michigan.
Yeah.
I'm taking Michigan all the way at this point.
Yeah.
They have looked the strongest of anybody in the tournament, in my opinion.
Right.
And I think they will continue to do so. I think they kind of take it home this year. I think the Yukon-Illinois game is very interesting.
Yeah.
That's going to be a very interesting matchup. Yukon's been down quite a bit coming through, but they find a way to come back.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks a lot to Hurley and his coaching.
Absolutely.
Like him or hate him, the guy knows how to coach.
Yeah.
And so, but that Illinois team, they are sound. They're very sound. But obviously the big matchup is going to be Michigan in Arizona. So.
Well, you and I we didn't collaborate on our brackets, but you and I had the same national championship matchup. I mean, Michigan, Houston, I guess, and that's what I had, and then I had Houston win it. So you and I both had our bracket busted at the same time there. I was in the catbird seat in a couple of brackets and just it fell off the rails, man, after that. But no, to your point, I mean, the mark of a good coach, and we're up against our final break, but the mark of a good coach to me is a guy that can rally his team and put his team in a position to win. Now, it's up to the players to execute, and at the end of the night, with basketball, it's pretty simple. You got to put the ball through the orange cylinder. So you got to get the shots to fall. But I think Dan Hurley, like him or not, I know you do. I know a lot of people don't. But got his team back, rallied them back, put them in a position to win a game that they really probably had no business winning, and then they get the turnover and. Hey, it's March Madness, man. That's why they call it that. Anything can happen, and we saw that anything can happen moment in the final 10 seconds of that game over the weekend. Hey, again, our final time out right here on this Rally Towel Tuesday edition of the Morning Rant. Thanks for being with us. Chuck Oliver coming up at the top of the hour with Southern Sports Today. Again, the king of college football right here on Sports Pig Radio. We got one more segment. When we come back, we'll touch on some NFL stuff, and we will be right back here in a moment. Thanks for being with us. The home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Tired of shouting your business's name into the void and getting nothing but crickets? Your brand deserves more than awkward billboard glances and flyers lining bird cages. Right now, listeners are hearing me ramble on instead of your ad. That's a touchdown for missed opportunities and a fumble for your wallet.
Recovered, Atlanta. Game over.
Your ad could be here, making fans laugh, cheer, and most importantly, call you. Go to sportspigradio.com or call 678-454-9552 and get your business off the bench and into the game.
Morning Grind with Pork Rinds.
Welcome to the show.
It's the Morning Rant, weekday mornings from 10 to 11 on 98.1, 93.7, and 101.1 on the H2 dial. WPGY, the Sports Pig.
Final day of the month today here on a Rally Towel Tuesday. Dave Garner back with you right here on the Morning Rant, here with Billy Dowd in studio today. Billy D, my man, bringing it right here on the Morning Rant. We were talking about Tiger Woods earlier. We're talking about some golf. Of course, next week we will ramp up that discussion with the Masters coming to town. March Madness, of course, Final Four this weekend, the National Championship on Monday. So really a lot of things going on and definitely plenty to talk about as we kind of transition into that spring season of baseball, hot and heavy underway. And tomorrow, man, April Fool's Day, man. You got any, I don't want to let the secrets out of the bag here or anything. You got any tricks planned on anybody, man? I know you're a prankster.
I don't, but, because I really hadn't thought about it. But, now that I'm fully aware that it's tomorrow, I might try a little something.
See,
My sister used to do it all the time, and now we just know not to believe anything she says on April 1st. Because she got us so bad one year, and it was not cool. So we don't believe anything she says on April 1st.
That's so funny, man. Yeah, you got to be careful, man. I'm telling you, and a lot of people, it's kind of like St. Patrick's Day for me. It's always one of those, like, it's midweek, it sneaks up on you, and then you forget to wear your green, and then you get pinched. And so April Fool's Day, this is one of those things that kind of comes along. They just kind of slide it in on you, and then you're sitting there, and then all heck breaks loose, and you realize it was just a big joke, and it's like, oh, ha, 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 wonderful.
And
thanks
don't
a lot.
do a joke that's going to make the family anxious, like somebody got hurt or in a car wreck, man, or something like that. Don't do that.
Don't do that, man. I'm taking heart medicine now, man. I'm in my 50s now, man. You and I, man, we getting old now, man. We can't be handling that stuff like we did back when we were younger. So, man, don't do any of that kind of stuff now, man. You might get the ticker off pace or something over here.
Shoot, speak for yourself. I'm good to go.
Hey, man, the prankster and the gangster, Dave Garner, Billy Dowd with you right here on the Tuesday Rally Towel Tuesday edition of the Morning Rant. A lot of things to talk about right now as we transition into the NFL.
From the buzzer beaters to the big hits. If it's making noise in the world of sports, we've got something to say about it. This is Now That's What I'm Talking About.
That's what I'm talking about.
Your all-access pass to the hottest takes in the world of sports.
All right, so we were talking before the break a little bit about NFL. Of course, the draft coming up at the end of April. We're not technically into April yet, so I can't say this month, but we are about a month away from the draft. And, combine over with, all that. We've been chopping that up a lot with Big John Davis, who, of course, is our NFL insider. He brings a perspective that only you can get right here on the Morning Rant. But you've got a lot, too, and you and I were talking about the streaming service thing, and I kind of wanted to keep that discussion going, and then we're not going to beat a dead horse. We'll probably let it go after today. We'll recircle it when we get back towards football season. But, yeah, man, I mean, it really even is beyond the NFL. I mean, like you said, you brought up a great point. We were talking off air. You were able to watch the first couple Braves games, and then all of a sudden, yesterday or the day before,
couldn't watch it last
you couldn't watch it. You're like, well, wait a minute, where's it at? So it's one of those things. I know Braves Vision was created out of necessity because, of all things, the Atlanta Braves didn't have a TV home. They got a radio home right here on the Sports Pig and our sister station, 101.1 The Pulse, which, by the way, you can hear all 162 on. So if you're away from the TV, just know you can flip it over here to hear the Braves games. But from a TV streaming platform situation, again, it's kind of, it's gotten to the point now where it's not like it was when you and I grew up. You could turn on WTBS and you could watch the Braves and you knew where to find them, channel 17. And now to find any of your teams play, especially when we get back into football season, where you've got to have Netflix, you got to have Peacock, you got to have Amazon Prime, you got to have, you have to pay for all these subscriptions. And then, oh, by the way, you still have to have a carrier like YouTube TV or whoever to carry all your network games, too.
Yeah, it's like, they come up with these big shows for the different streaming platforms so that you'll buy their, whether it be Paramount or whatever it may be, they'll come up with this blockbuster show that everybody's talking about. So guess what? Now I've got to go buy Paramount. Well, the same things are happening with sports.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but at this point, I bought all these streaming services I'm going to buy. When what was it, 10 years ago, they're like, you need to unplug. You're paying too much for cable, paying too much for unplug.
Yeah.
We can stream
all those
for
direct
this.
TV.
I was telling everybody, I said, I know this is going to happen. As soon as everybody does this, everybody's going to want to stream their own thing.
Right.
And that's what you're seeing now.
Yeah.
So I knew that was going to happen.
Right.
Anyway, it doesn't make any sense to have to buy something for every single thing that you watch.
Yeah.
Unless you have an endless amount of money to just throw out these places.
Right.
But, it's just, you can't, I'm telling you, bring back cable. At this point, you got everything you wanted there.
Well,
originally.
Everything seems to come back around. Like, everything is a cycle. And so, people were getting away from cable. But here's the thing. Even the cable companies, like our friends at ETC, for example, that kind of serve this area, they're doing some kind of a la carte type stuff where now they are going to have a streaming platform, kind of like a Netflix or whatever. So I think even the cable companies, even your local kind of independent cable companies, are starting to get smart with that, and they're starting to provide that content, because regardless of how you deliver that content, whether it be over a coax cable or over a digital platform or a stream or what have you, you got to get it out there to people the way that they're watching. And so I think a lot of the cable industry is even becoming kind of like streaming services to a certain extent. You're still going to have to buy it from somewhere. Like, someone's still going to be your provider, and you're going to have different options. I think the most frustrating thing, especially for like Braves fans, is that you had Fox Sports, then you had Fox Sports South, the regional stuff. Well, then Bally came in and they bought it. It was Bally Sports. Well, then Bally went away, and then so it just keeps changing. There's really no consistency from year to year, and so it's hard to figure it out. And know where to watch.
Yeah, and what a lot of people are doing, which many people probably don't think about, is you have these young families and their kids are playing all these different sports.
Yeah.
Where are they watching things? They're watching them on their phone. So you have to have those platforms that are going to be able to deliver to the phone.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't sitting in front of in the living room watching a 3-hour, baseball game, football game, whatever.
Right.
This is being streamed to their phones wherever they are.
Right.
Which is why these came through.
Yeah, and that started out, and that's why I say, and I'm kind of putting in a shameless plug for radio, because I spent a lot of years in TV in a background, but I will say this: radio. One of the reasons that radio is still alive and well is because of the connectivity that it gives you and the easiness of being able to listen. And a lot of it, though, is on your phone. I mean, a lot of it right now is basically streaming. We push our app, that like this station right here. I mean, we're on the dial, But we live on, the app. We live on the stream. We live on social media because that's how people are engaging now. And so everything is coming through this device right here. I'm holding up my phone for those that can't see it. But so again, people are having to get creative in how they deliver their content. But for the NFL, I think there's a bigger story there. There's kind of an underlying story that John and I were talking about the last couple of days, and that is the greed factor, because there are so many different streaming platforms now for just the NFL that even the FCC is seeking public comment from people about, okay, how far are you willing to go because there's something not right here. I think there's this idea that the NFL is kind of pushing these platforms to kind of see how much of your wallet are people willing to get? Pay. You know what I mean? Well, I am too. I mean, here's the thing. Every time we want to watch a show, Ted Lasso, you got to get Peacock or Apple TV or whatever. And then that show ends, you let the subscription run out, and then you get another one. And then there's another show, to your point, that comes back to one of those platforms. You go back in. I wonder if I still, no, my account expired. Got to recreate it again. And so I guess the good thing I'll say is at least a lot of them, at least for now, knock on wood, don't really lock you into, long-term type stuff. You can cancel it anytime, which is a good thing. But otherwise, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people.
The problem
would
is
be
I don't
maxed
cancel.
Well,
that's my problem.
And I even downloaded. Again, we are the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. I downloaded the ESPN 3, the video platform, so that I could watch, some, college football, D2, FCS, type championships. Boxing matches, UFC, a lot of that stuff is making its way over there as well. So, a lot of different ways to listen. In fact, I need to go in. I think it expired, but I need to look it back up. But yeah, there are a lot of different ways to listen to a lot of different things. But the good thing about radio typically is you don't have to pay for it unless you have Sirius XM. And it's usually not that expensive. But hey, man, you can listen to all the Braves games right here for free, man. We ain't charging you nothing. You don't have to pay a dime to listen to this show. And you're probably like, well, that's a good thing, because then nobody would listen. But no, we're having a lot of fun right here on a Rally Towel Tuesday. We're almost out of time. But yeah, good stuff. I mean, real quick, before we get out of here, Billy, I know I only got you once a week. Atlanta Falcon talk, not a whole lot going on, but the Falcons did bring in Trevor Siemian, a veteran quarterback, into that quarterback room along with Tua and Michael Penix. So, again, they have made some moves. Brian Robinson, running back from the Niners, comes over. So now you got 2 B. Robinsons in the Atlanta backfield. Be careful if you're playing fantasy. People are already speaking of April Fools, people are already trying to fool people, trading them B. Robinson, Brian Robinson, not Bijan, for like a second-round pick, and people are biting on it.
That's funny. And I feel sorry for them. Whoever's falling for that.
It's already happened right here.
That's terrible.
Oh, man. We've had a lot of fun here in this hour. Again, Chuck Oliver, as we mentioned, up next. We introduced a new segment today, the restaurant inspection scores, as part of our lineup right here on Tuesdays. Tomorrow, John Davis will not be with me. He's headed down the Braves game, but we'll still have a lot of fun tomorrow. We are going to be at the pub in Ellijay, broadcasting live. It'll be our first ever on-location edition of the Morning Rant. So we hope to see you there tomorrow between 10 and 11 a.m. Looking forward to that. And, of course, we will join our Braves insider, Will Cooper, a little bit later in the week. So a lot of fun stuff, man. A lot of fun stuff. You look like you got something else to say.
No, I'm good.
You were kind of twirling those.
No.
You were doing that Matthew McConaughey with your fingers like, hey, man, I got one more point. All right. Anyway, we appreciate you guys being with us right here. Hey, again, busy weekend coming up. We're going to talk about it throughout the week. Go Braves. Hopefully they can continue on with everything they got going on. And, hey, man, we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's a long season.
Just win each series.
Yeah.
Win each series. That's all.
And that was the Snitker philosophy, 2 out of 3.
That's
Not
right.
that you want to throw a game away. But, if you win the series in the first 2 games, then you can kind of tweak the lineup a little bit in Game 3. So we may see that. Hopefully they can take care of business tonight.
Let's go
ahead and win that
Hawks.
series.
Let's go Braves.
The Hawks. Again, man, the Hawks in that 6th spot right now in the Eastern Conference. Hey, we're going to wrap things up. Appreciate you. Again, Rally Towel Tuesday right here on the Morning Rant. And we end every show, as always, by saying, if you don't know,
you better ask somebody.
We'll see you tomorrow morning at the pub in Ellijay. Chuck Oliver is up next with Southern Sports Today, the king of college football. Stay with us right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com. We'll see you tomorrow morning.